the relations which I built into the picture of the world which I characterized as the perennial picture. And here is the basic material that I'm going to be working with in the course of this exploration of meaning, truth, and existence.
You allow just
Yes.
In your effort to get away from a relational theory, it seems that when one tries to understand what the dot quote means, there seems to be a crypto relation underlying an understanding of that in terms of, let's say, a mapping that goes from, say, the word in quotes triangular to the dot quote triangular. And I was wondering if you understand this as a relation or as something really that can be understood without.
Let me write it down here once. And I characterize this in terms of for every x epsilon und in German implies x epsilon dot quote and. And what I said was then that there's no relationship here whatsoever because this is a logical connective and not a relation. Now, if you want to call connectives crypto relations, you're entitled to do so, but there's a fundamental difference between logical connectives and predicates, in that predicates take referring expressions and singular terms. And, for example, consider even the word implies, which is a predicate which functions in, which is a concern to logicians, but it's a predicate and not a connective. And this is shown by the fact that what we have to say is that Socrates is wise implies that he has a mind, and so on.
Well, no, that I agree with, but in just understanding the term dot quote and, how does that become meaningful to us? Is there a connection, a functional or a relational connection between that and in quotes?
Well, I mean, dot quote and is a sortal word, and every sortal word has criteria of application. What are the criteria that anything must satisfy to be a dot quote and? It must be an item in some language or other which is under the controls and doing the job that is done in our language by the expression that is contained between them. Now that's the way we form the dot quote expression. In other words, its formation involves the use of something which is doing a certain function. But this doesn't involve a relation between, in other words, I use this very complicated locution, namely, this is a sortal expression which applies to anything, which does the functions in the way in which what's in between it functions in our language. But that doesn't mean that it's abbreviated for that. In other words, you mustn't construe the criteria for a sortal expression as it were part of the definition of the sortal expression. Perhaps
we should allow you to pursue that.